New York City is the 6th most expensive place to live on the planet. Take your average family of 4 and you're looking at around $5,000 per month just to live here. And that doesn't even include rent. Once you add rent into that, you're looking at around $11,000 per month just to live here. So how do we afford it? Well, we get very creative. In this video, I'm going to share some of the surprising ways that New Yorkers save money while living here.
In this video, I'll share ways you can save over $2,300, so make sure you watch until the end.
Let's talk a little bit about how you can save money on eating and drinking, because the reality is you're gonna have to spend money on it no matter what. However, there are ways to get it super cheap or even completely for free. Let's get into it. One of the ways that you can dine in New York or any city for very low price or completely complimentary is partnering with restaurants. Now, in order to do this, you do need to have some type of social media handle, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, blog, where you would be willing to create content for that restaurant, whether it be a photo or a quick video, and in exchange for providing them with that, they will give you a fabulous meal. Now, this benefits everyone, right? Now, if that meal's fabulous, I'm gonna share that with my social media followers and tell them about it. Benefits the restaurant because now they're getting publicity and they're also getting content for free. So this is a very common thing you see in New York City. There's entire agencies dedicated to this. For example, there's one agency called Front of House where you can go on and literally look at a list of all these fabulous restaurants and request meals for 2 people that is completely complimentary in exchange for photos. Unbelievable? Believe it. This is truly a thing that happens in most large cities around the United States. So if you're interested in dining at some of the best spots, consider starting a social media channel. This is an incredible hack for saving money on dining in some of New York City's best restaurants. The app is called Seated, and I am seriously obsessed with this. I've been using it for years. By using this app, all you do is you book your restaurant reservation through it, and then once you get the bill, you take a picture of the receipt. Let's get that money. Beautiful, $38. I got $25 back, $98. I got $98 from dining out in New York. This is amazing. And you can get up to 47% of that bill back in cash in the form of gift cards to Amazon, Uber, Starbucks, Macy's, Apple, and much, much more. It's an amazing way to save on dining, and what I particularly love about it is, say you're going to a business meeting or you're going out to a date and you're the one that has to put down that credit card. Well, no one needs to know that you even used Seated. It is such an undercover way to save on dining. But if you guys are interested in downloading Seated, please click on the link below, because by using my link, you're actually gonna get $15 automatically added to your account, or use my code SARAH2352. Do yourselves a favor and don't buy drinking water when you're here in New York City. The reason is because we have some of the best tap water in the entire United States. So instead, why don't you just bring a reusable water bottle and fill it up as you go. I know in some places that sounds really dangerous, but trust me, they literally sell New York City tap water all over the world. That's how good it is. Now, by doing this trick, since the average person drinks around 2 to 3 water bottles a day, you're gonna be saving around $9, since on average, bottles of water from places like this are $2 to $3 a pop. So you're welcome. Use that $9, get like a beer or a cocktail, or just buy something that is actually worth paying for. Visit a rooftop bar instead of an observation deck. Your average observation deck is going to cost you around $39 per person. However, you can get amazing views like this one and a cocktail for less than that. Pretty sweet, right? Well, I'm here at Overstory. This is on the iconic Art Deco building 70 Pine, and they have a fabulous cocktail bar on the roof. This drink is called Easy Money. It's a gourmet take on a vodka soda, and this one is their Terroir cocktail, which is a more gourmet take on an old fashioned. They have a homemade honeycomb on the top. Let's give it a shot. Yes. I feel like I'm James Bond or something, or Jane Bond. looking at this view. This to me is by far the best view of any rooftop bar in the entire city. Now, to get reservations to Overstory, you do need to make them about 15 days in advance. It's really the only way to secure your spot here. I recommend making them sometime during sunset, but this is a great way to experience a beautiful view of Manhattan while still saving money versus going to an observation deck. And there's many other rooftop bars besides this one. I have an entire guide to different rooftop bars in the city, so definitely check that one out. Most New Yorkers, especially those with families, don't live in Manhattan. Why? Because it's extremely expensive. Just by exploring the other boroughs and getting out of Manhattan, you will save so much money on rent. And that doesn't just go for rent, that also goes for if you're just vacationing in New York. For example, if we look at Midtown Manhattan, the average cost for a hotel there is $350 to $450 per night. Now, if you just take the train over 2 stops to Long Island City, Queens, a 10-minute commute, you're looking at an average hotel price of about $150. So the moral of this story, simply get outside of Manhattan. That will save you so much money. New York City has some of the best shopping in the world, and although much of it is very expensive, there are still tons of ways to do it right on a budget. Here are some of my favorite ways. A great way to save some money is to go thrift shopping. Now, if you spend less than $110 on any purchase, whether it's thrift shopping or not, as long as it's clothing, you are exempt from the 4% sales tax in New York. Isn't that pretty cool? So try to aim to buy things under $110. Now, if you're talking about the best place to go thrift shopping or vintage shopping, my personal favorite is vintage thrift. This is where you can get some really beautiful designer clothes from different eras and even from today for super cheap. Now, I have an entire map of the best vintage and thrift shops in the city, so if you're interested in that type of stuff, make sure you click the link below and get access to all the goods. Another great option is to go to the outlets. This is where you can find designer clothes that you would see on Fifth Avenue, but at a much lower price. So you can look fabulous while still on a budget. There are 3 main ones in New York City: Woodbury Commons, Jersey Gardens, and Empire Outlets in Staten Island. I actually recommend doing Empire Outlets in Staten Island if you are on a really serious budget, because it is the only one that is completely free to get to. Plus, while you're on your way there, you just take the Staten Island ferry, you get a really close-up view of the Statue of Liberty, and then walk a few blocks to Empire Outlets, where you're gonna find all of the stores, restaurants, bars, and beautiful views of New York City. Most New Yorkers don't have cars. This is because the cost of monthly parking is like another rent. For example, the price for parking in my apartment building is $350 a month. Yeah, you heard that right. It's pretty depressing. So how do we get around? Well, there are a few ways we use. The best way to get around the city by far is taking the subway. Listen, our subway, it may not be the most glamorous experience. It may be dirty, it may smell bad, but it runs 24/7. And look at this map. You can get all throughout the entire city here. From this corner to this top, that's a 2.5-hour trip. And the price doesn't change by time. It's the same price, $2.75. Now, for reference, if you had to take a car from here all the way to here, you're looking probably over $100 easily. The cost of Ubers and Lyfts and taxis is really high. It's not uncommon for a 20-minute ride to cost you $50. Consider taking the subway. It can be a little confusing, but using Google Maps is pretty easy. Just follow their public transportation advice and you can get around the city for $2.75. It is so easy and cheap. Get a CitiBike subscription. You can get an annual subscription to CitiBike for only $185 a year. And that will save you a lot compared to the subway, which is about $1,500 a year. So think about all the things you could do with all that saved money. Now, there's CitiBike locations located all over the city, not just in Manhattan. I personally have the yearly subscription because it's so fun and it's great for the warmer times of year, but you can totally ride it during winter too because we don't get that much snow in the winter anymore. So just bundle up, get around the city, get that exercise going, and get a CitiBike. It's just the financially smart thing to do, and it's good for your body. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, or join one of my NYC tours. I'll see you next time. Bye.